Welcome to the Coach Hughes Show. It's week 3 in the NSIC. We got homecoming this week, Coach. You guys just got done with Monday practice. How'd that go?
It was fine. Typically on a Monday, it's a light day. It was that way today. We actually did a few different things, a little out of the norm than what we normally do on a Monday. I think our players liked it, enjoyed it. I wanted our week to not be routine, and we got them started off that way, out of the typical routine, and I think that was a good thing. And we'll get at it tomorrow, full padded practice.
Yeah, tough loss against Winona last week, but you had some strong plays on defense. Bryson got a couple sacks. He had a couple interceptions. I just actually watched the Steinwan film, and that was a pretty athletic play. So there's a couple positives to take away from that. What are some things that you noticed from that game?
Well, we did force some turnovers, which was nice. Isaiah's interception, really in the time that I've been here at Minot State, that was what I felt probably the most spectacular individual play that I've seen in the time here. I mean, it was fantastic. Isaiah's a guy that I'm a big fan of. I like how hard he's worked. I mean, he's stepped up in a role. He's a starter for us. He's doing really well, and he's invested. And I'm really happy for him. We were able to generate some pressure. We were able to, as I said, force some turnovers. And defensively, we're doing some good things. A couple areas that I want to see us be better at. One, we've got to get off the field on third down. 2 weeks in a row, we haven't been great on third down, so we need to be better there. And then another area, kind of along the same lines, is we need to generate some more 3 and outs. I told our defense today, if you want to be a great defense, you want to be a dominating defense, then you got to get off the field in 3 plays. Teams that can do that, they're dominating. And it's a goal for our team going forward, our defensive team, to get more 3 and outs. And that's what we're working on as we go forward.
On offense, it looked like you guys were able to move the ball. Then when you got downfield, some mistakes happened. So what do you have to do offensively to fix some of that stuff and reach the end zone?
Well, we turned the ball over 3 times in the red zone. I mean, obviously you would hope that those 3 possessions end in touchdowns, and if they end in touchdowns, I mean, the game is totally different. But we turned it over, and as a result, we left points, off of the board, you could say, and then we gave them additional opportunities in addition to the momentum swing that happens with a turnover, particularly one in the red zone. So that's our biggest area of concern right now is protecting the ball. In week 1, we protected it very well for the most part, but we did have a turnover at a critical point late in the game, and then we had a number of turnovers in critical situations in the red zone this past week. So for us to improve offensively and as a team, we've got to take advantage of the opportunities that are placed before us, and got to make it happen. I told the team, there's only so many job interviews you can go to. At some point, you have to get the job. At some point, you have to tell the employer, like, I'm your guy, and here's why. And right now, we've got to the interview, but have not finished the job or got the job, and we got to get that done as we go forward.
Where does that finding those opportunities start? Does it start at quarterback? Does it start at like getting the ball moved on the line, or is it more of a 11-man kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's large-scale ones, say, first and goal from the 1-yard line. I mean, points are on the board, but there's opportunities all game long in terms of if everyone is doing their job and doing it well, great things happen. And so every player has an opportunity in front of them, nearly every single play. And then again, there's like these critical moments that arise, and our guys need to have better recognition of that. We've been talking about, back in the early 1990s, the Cleveland Browns, they had this little thing between their team where they would give one another a thumbs up in like a critical situation. Clay Matthews' dad, Clay Matthews, played for the Browns, and he talked about how you can't give 100% every single play. As much as you want to say you are, it's just not physically possible. But there are those moments, a third down, a red zone, short yardage situation where, hey, this is critical, and you have to go as hard as humanly possible. And at that point, when they would recognize that as veteran players, they would look at one another and thumbs up. They take the field in a 2-minute drill, like thumbs up to one another. And again, the idea was, this is critical. The thumbs up, this has got to be where we shine. And so for our team right now, our challenge is recognizing, hey, this is a thumbs up opportunity, and we've got to make it happen within that opportunity. And so, again, this is something we've been talking about for a few weeks now with our team. We talked about it extensively today, and we need to see that on Saturdays going forward.
Your team seems to have a lot of chemistry with each other, and you guys coaching stuff like that, thumbs up stuff. Like, do you see them picking up on that quickly and kind of giving each other a pat on the back and doing stuff like that?
Well, we have to. And, one thing in the time when I was at Ohio State that I learned from Coach Meyer is he always talked about how critical alignment is. And he had mentioned at some point in the meeting how he'd been on a number of different staffs, and not every one of them was aligned, but the ones that were special. I wasn't there last year when we won a national championship, but they were clearly aligned. And that's where our program needs to get, to where we're all speaking the same language, we're all feeling the same moment, and we all know at the same time this is a thumbs up opportunity. And we're getting there. We still have a ways to go, but we're getting there. And a lot of that is driven from our players in terms of our internal leadership. That's a critical factor for a team to be a good team and a great team, is having great internal leadership. And that's something I've challenged our players with right now is at some point you guys have to go out there between those white lines and make the play and push each other and demand from one another that the plays are going to be made when those opportunities arise. So I think we're getting closer, but we've got some ways to go.
Yep. And you mentioned a lot about opportunities and things like that. I think you guys have the players and the playmakers to do that thing. I think sometimes there have been lapses in your game, either offensively or defensively, that have kind of stopped you guys. But going into next week against Concordia, there's probably going to be some of those opportunities. Do you think your team's going to be better at executing that next week?
Well, we need to be. I mean, I would think that emphasis placed on that area over and over and over, it would recognize it, and so then when that situation comes up again in the future, they say, hey, you know what, I've been in this situation before. I know what needs to be done right now, and that's the teaching progression where we're at. Last year it was just a matter of trying to teach guys how to line up and hopefully tackle. I mean, we weren't very good. Now we're talking about how to handle themselves in critical situations of a football game. So we definitely have progressed, but really the ultimate is us being able to master those situations and perform, exceptionally well given those. And that's the next step that, we need to take within the program.
You have homecoming this week. We got a lot of home games with soccer and volleyball at home, and there's a lot of festivities going around. As a head coach, do you like homecoming? Do you like the attention that it brings? Or do you think there's some distractions for your team that your team has to be aware of to stay focused on Saturday?
Yeah, it's a unique time on campus. I mean, it only happens once a year, and it really rallies around a football game. So in my mind, I feel like our players should enjoy it. They only get this opportunity, a few times in their college career, and then it's over, and then they're out doing whatever they do. So this is a special time for them. They should cherish these moments, these opportunities, and I also would want them to feel like, because they're on the football team and because homecoming, centers around that homecoming football game, I would hope that they would get involved on campus and recognize their opportunity to be a leader within the campus community, and again, be involved and be visible. They've got a million things they got to do every day: school, football, meetings, personal life. They got a million things. They have to make some choices and decide what's best and get to where they need to be. But at the same time, they should enjoy it and appreciate where they're at as a college athlete.
Both Concordia St. Paul and Minot State will be looking for their first win of the season in this game this weekend. And Concordia St. Paul just lost in the last second play. What have you seen from Concordia St. Paul that you think that you guys can take advantage of, or do you think that they play a really solid game and you guys have to play and match them?
Well, they're in a similar position that we are. I mean, they're 0-2 coming into the game. We're 0-2. I'm sure both teams are feeling the pinch and trying to feel like we got to get a win. So I think they're going to be a team that's hungry and ready to go. They were seconds away from being 1-1. They had a drive that allowed 94 yards and less than 30 seconds to close out their game. And so I'm sure that the frustration from losing was certainly there, and I know they'll be hungry and ready to compete and play well against us. So they do a number of things, in terms of their pressure and things, offensively that we've seen, whether from our own team or from our first two games. They do have some good players. We'll continue to work on that game plan and get ourselves ready. But again, I think for our players, what's most important is doing their job and trusting one another. And if they can do those two things, they'll be fine. And then, the game will take care of itself. We can put together the greatest scheme and game plan on the earth. But unless our players like really trust in it and believe in it and one another, it won't come together. So that's what I'm looking for more than anything else on Saturday.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about was, sometimes the character can shine really from your players when they face adversity. You guys have suffered 2 early losses, but have you seen any leaders on your team step it up in practice and be kind of more vocal, trying to get your guys ready and make some plays and step it up for the oncoming weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I saw some things today which were positive, but I think it's a progression. I think guys have to really learn how to lead. I mean, there's people that have like natural leadership ability. They're bold, they're confident. I mean, there's some characteristics there, but you still have to learn how to lead. You still have to learn how to communicate with people of all different backgrounds. You have to know when to lead. I mean, I think that's another big thing is like understanding the timing of this is when I should say what needs to be said. So given all that, I did see some positive signs today. I would hope that our players in this program every single day get better at leadership by way of having the best example that they can possibly provide out there every single day, and then trying to find ways to make people around them better. I mean, it's a long football season, so there's a lot of opportunities to like see a guy that might need a pick me up and on or off the field. And so in short, yes, I'm seeing good things, but I need to see more, and we have to see more in the program.
Well, we hope to see some of those good things this Saturday at homecoming. You guys take on Concordia St. Paul at Herb Parker Stadium at 1:30. So good luck, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.